The type of investments you can make with your solo 401k will generally depend on the plan documents you have. You need to talk to the plan provider who has designed your plan documents to determine what is available for investment. In general, if you got your plan at a traditional institution like a Vanguard or a Chase for free, you're probably going to be limited to be buying the investments they provide, like stocks, mutual funds, ETFs. Whereas if you got your plan at a provider like IRA Financial, you're going to be able to do alternative assets like real estate. Our plan documents, for example, don't say what you can do. The list is pretty much a thorough list, but there's a catch-all at the end that basically says as long as it's not prohibited, you can do it. So whether it's real estate, as long as it doesn't violate the prohibited transaction rules under 4975 and 408, the documents should allow you to do it. So what are the prohibited transaction rules? Essentially under 408, you can't buy collectibles like art, life insurance with an IRA. You could buy life insurance with a 401k so long as your plan documents allow for it. And then the broad category is 4975, which states you cannot do any transactions that directly or indirectly personally benefits you or a lineal descendant, i.e. a disqualified person, such as your parents, children, spouse, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, or any entity associated with such person in general. So you can't buy a house and live in it. Can't take your IRA and buy your parents' house and have your kids live in it. Can't do anything with a disqualified person. So when it comes to investments, as long as we know your investment decision or your proposed investment will not be a collectible or involve self-dealing or a disqualified person, you can do it. So there's a long list of investments, obviously real estate, hard money loans, cryptocurrency, tax liens, tax deeds, private equity, private business, stocks, mutual funds, ETFs, a whole long list. Again, as long as it's not collectible and doesn't involve self-dealing or violate 4975 and a disqualified person, you can do it. Now, when you decide what investment to do, the solo 401k, as long as your documents allow for it, you as the trustee will have control over it to make that investment. The beauty is the solo Ks, you're not subject to ERISA, so you generally don't have other employees to concern yourself with. That is the reason if you work at a big company like Apple or IBM or Facebook, they're not going to let you do real estate or cryptocurrencies with your 401k. Not because it's not allowed, it's because they don't want to deal with the repercussions and the liability as the fiduciary of your plan of letting people do alternative assets. God forbid something goes awry, you sue them, and as a fiduciary, they were supposed to provide you investment advisory services, and if they let you buy, you know, a house in Iraq or an apartment in Beirut, maybe that wasn't the best decision, and maybe you could sue them for a lack of fiduciary responsibility. So most plans, even IRA Financials, we don't let our clients do alternative assets. We have a lot of, we don't let our employees do alternative assets. We've got a lot of employees, basically let them do traditional equities. Will the plan allow for it if someone wanted to? Yes, but it's just not something we want to do because we have so many employees. We don't want to administer their plans, make them sign, administer their investments. We don't want to have to sign for their real estate or have to be a fiduciary for any of their investments. But that being said, in a solo K, you'd just be responsible for yourself or another business owner or spouse. So you'd be okay if there's a cryptocurrency investment or real estate or hard money loan or private equity or hedge fund or venture capital, because you don't really have to worry about anyone but yourself or a fellow business owner or spouse. So it makes it a lot easier to deal with alternative asset investments. But you got a really wide range of investment opportunities. It's all based off the documents, what you can do. If it's a self-directed 401k solo, you can simply have checkbook control. You can write a check or wire the money from your solo K account. All the income and gains from that investment will be tax deferred or tax free in the case of a Roth back to your plan. Super easy, super tax beneficial. And that's the whole beauty of a solo K. You can make high contributions, 55,000 if you're under 50, 61 if you're over 50, pre-tax, Roth, or after-tax if your documents allow for it. You have loan options. You can get a non-recourse loan for real estate without triggering unrelated business taxable income, which is a 37% tax. If you used an IRA, So you got a huge array of investments. Your plan needs to allow for it, and you need to be comfortable doing it. Obviously, if you don't know anything about cryptocurrencies, don't go buy Ethereum or Bitcoin or Litecoin. Do your research. The same way, if you don't know anything about the real estate market in Indianapolis, don't buy a home in Indianapolis. I mean, you just got to know what you're doing. But as long as it's not a collectible and you're not violating 4975, you can do it. Okay? Doesn't mean you should do it, but it means you could do it. And that's the beauty. Our 401k is a private elective deferral retirement system. It's not a system like some countries in Europe where the money just gets dumped into a public pension system that the government invests for you, and then you get a certain amount when you retire. No, you're in control of your own retirement vehicles. This is an elective deferral plan. You don't have to set one up. You don't have to make contributions. You don't have to buy stocks. As long as it doesn't violate, the investment does not violate 408 or 4975, you can do it. So we have an enormous amount of control, enormous amount of diversification ability with our 401k, so long as our documents allow for it. But it's our responsibility to take advantage of it and use the plan responsibly and be concerned and cautious about the prohibited transaction rules. Doing so will allow you to invest with the freedom of mind of knowing you're not going to be violating IRS rules, and at the same time, knowing that you're hopefully going to be generating tax-deferred and tax-free wealth for your retirement account.